in today's video, it's going to be a little bit of a mix mash of a couple of things. I'm going to talk to you guys about seed starting. I'm also going to show you what I currently have growing in the ground. And then also we'll do a little bit of a harvest in the form of some radishes. And then I'll also talk to you about how I store my seeds and how I plan for my spring garden. So the first thing you want to do is you need to know what your last frost date is. And you can find this out by going to Google and just typing in what is my last frost date and then the zip code for your area. Taking that frost date in mind, when you look at your seed packets in the back, it's going to tell you how many days to germinate. That is the time in which, in ideal conditions, that little seedling is going to go ahead and sprout. So some seeds take 14 days to germinate. So obviously, if for instance in my zone, my last frost date is March the 1st, if I'm wanting to get a head start on my seeds, I don't want to plant those seeds on March the 1st because now I'm going to lose 14 days for that seed to germinate, and then it'll go ahead and get ready to start growing. So two things: Google what your last frost date is, and then taking that last frost date, also look at how many days to germinate those seeds in that seed packet will take. The third thing to consider is when to plant the seed. Okay, you don't want to plant your seeds too far in advance, because then what happens is the plant is ready to go in the ground, but it's still cold outside, so you don't plant it, and then the roots get what we call root bound. So that's not good. So again, Google what your last frost date is, look at your seed packet to see how many days to germinate, and then go ahead and take into consideration how far in advance you want to start your seeds. And what I do is I put a calendar together and I write down everything that I want to do for my spring garden, whether it's squash, whether it's flowers, what have you, okra, anything like that. And I plan ahead. I use this time that it's not so hot outside to plan ahead when I need to start my seeds. So as you can see here, I've gone through and I've outlined when I'm going to plant certain seedlings to go ahead and get them started for spring. Now, let's talk about how to keep your seeds organized and what method I use. And here in just a moment, I'm going to show you what I use, but you could find this on Amazon, or I found one of these actually at a Ross store. But what it is, it's these 4x6 little containers for photographs where you can actually store photos. So I've got 2 of these. My second one I did find on Amazon, and my first one I found at a clothing store called Ross, but these are them. Spring, we're gonna go ahead and start off with cucumbers. And I've got a couple of cucumbers that I'm gonna go ahead and sow. Starting off with a Fairy Morse cucumber lemon. We're gonna do the good old trusty cucumber dar that I did last year. And then also I'm gonna do the silver slicer cucumber. I've got zinnias, the macarena, I've got aster chinas, I've got the lily put mixed color. I'm also gonna be trying dahlias and cosmos, just because on some of my orders from Baker Creek last year, they sent me some free seed packets of cosmos. I'm gonna go ahead and do rattlesnake pole, Kentucky Wonder. This is a trusty green bean here, pole beans. I'm gonna go back to my Chinese red noodle. They look like that. They look like little licorice, if you will. They're pretty good. The kids loved it. I love the taste of it. I'm also gonna go ahead and do my golden wax, and then do dragon tongue bush beans as well. And we got the Hill Country red okra, long pod Perkins, of course a classic Clemson spineless, and I was able to salvage a couple of my Jinga okra. So I have that out there growing as well. But I'm also going to do Eagle Pass okra, which is just a thicker okra. Perfect for deep frying. And because I do want to have high yields of okra and I have a limited amount of space, I'm going to also do a heavy hitter in there. So the heavy hitter okra is supposed to have, if you can see, all those pods within one plant. So I'm excited to try that one. Anyways, we're also going to do some collards. I've got some arugula going, bib lettuce, and the little counterpart to it, the little gem butterhead lettuce. Then I've also got some triumphator lettuce and butter king lettuce and black seeded Simpson lettuce as well. Spiced basil, dwarf Greek, thyme, triple curled parsley, Ailes Best 45, Minnesota midget, my Madhu Ras, Rajasthan honey, melon, Kajari, have a couple of seeds left, Royal Golden watermelon, Sugar Baby, and Blacktail Mountain as well. And again, with my area 9A, I try to find varieties that will tolerate it and that will give me yields quickly. So I have Sugar Daddy, Alaska peas, my Sugar Magnolia, which are purple. All right, so let's go into the raised beds, which, as you can see, have been converted into a greenhouse for the winter time. And I have a couple of things in here. And yes, I do have tomatoes also growing in here as well. But in the seed category, I got these little miniature greenhouses from Amazon. And in here, I've got some flowers that I just planted a couple of days ago. And then down here, let me show you guys. These are seedlings that I actually started last week. So you can see that while this one was started a week ahead than this one, again, taking into consideration those germination dates is how quickly they'll germinate for you. Now there's other variables as well, such as if you have them on a warming mat, which I don't use a warming mat. What I do is I put them in the greenhouse within a greenhouse themselves as well. And that's just how I germinate my seeds. But you can use growing lights. You can also go ahead and use heat maps. I just don't like, that's not my preferred method because again, I don't have any electricity going to this particular structure. And from these seeds, I also had other seedlings that got started back in December. And those are here in the ground. And those are growing. So while I have this space here that I'm using for the seeds, I'm also growing some winter or frost hardy crops that I can grow. Beets, kohlrabi, all these things. I got broccoli here, cabbage. I do have some tomatoes. I've got little bok choy growing. So all of this is just here, taking up space until all of my spring garden seedlings are fully grown and ready to go into the ground as well. And since we're out here, so I did notice this the other day, I've got some of my radishes ready to go. This is my purple plum radish. Let's see, I think there's a couple of them in here. Yes, so that'll be good. I tell you guys, it's the little things like this, they get you excited about growing things in your garden. Because look at this. This is a purple plum radish, gorgeous interior, purple flesh on the outside. You can see the purple just bleeding out of this radish. It's a beauty right there, and it's really good in taste as well. I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment down below. I would love to see what you guys are planning for your spring garden. And again, don't forget, when it comes to starting your seedlings for spring, Google that last frost date, look at the days to germination in the seed packet that you're going to go ahead and sow, and then also take into consideration how long do you want to start your seeds so that they don't get root bound by the time that they do need to go into the ground. I'll see you guys later.